Chapter 5, God's Objet. Their mother walked through the door. "Sorry, Queen Mother, Shh. "It's all right, precious," her mother said gently. "That was so sweet of you to sing to him. You have a lovely voice." Leaning over Robert, she gently pulled the covers off his head. "Sweetie, sit up for me." He pulled the pillow over his head as if to hide and started crying loud again. "Oh, no!" She put her hand on his back. "Dear Lord, please comfort my babies." He started to sob more loudly, and after a couple of minutes of him continuing to cry with her rubbing his back, she said, "Son, move over. I'm going to lie down with you." He moved but kept crying. She lay on the bed and put her arm under his head and pulled him close to her. He hugged her tightly and became quiet, although the tears ran down his face like a stream. "Pearl, you lay on the other side of me, okay, dear? We'll all just rest. Kind of like I did with you kiddos a few years ago when you were much smaller, remember?" Pearl obeyed. "This is weird," she thought, "but I remember. And I'm glad we're all together. Jesus, please help our hearts stop hurting and tell Daddy we miss him." "I love you both so much," said her mother, and hugged them closer. Pearl glanced at her mom and saw silent tears. Her own eyes filled, and they spilled into her mother's blouse, but Pearl didn't make a sound. They all cried together for a few minutes, then they dozed. Later, Pearl woke to smell barbecue, and she felt happier now. "Yum, Uncle Bert must be cooking again, and I'm hungry," she said. The clock flashed 11:30. They had slept almost an hour. Her mother stirred and turned toward her and smiled. "I love you, Pearl," she said, putting her face close to Pearl's. Robert had turned toward the wall and didn't move. Pearl admired again the deep green of her mother's eyes. She liked it when people told her that her eyes looked like her mom's, even though they were more blue like her dad's. But she liked green. It was such a soothing color, and her mother's eyes were very soothing right now. "I'm so sorry life has turned out like this, dear heart," her mother said. A tear escaped into the pillow. "But God is faithful and good, and things are going to be fine." Pearl patted her mother on the shoulder. "Yes, Queen Mother, I know, and Daddy would be proud of you. You're truly a like that woman in Proverbs." One side of her mother's mouth rose in a semi-smile, and Pearl was glad it was time for her mother to be happy again. "My sweet daughter, you do have a way with words," she said, and stroked Pearl's cheek. "I love you, precious. And you, yourself, are a virtuous young woman." "Virtuous," Pearl repeated. "Yes, that's it." Robert turned over, but still seemed to be asleep. To Pearl, he looked so innocent and vulnerable when he was resting, even younger than he was. She smiled, then eased out of the bed, and her mother followed and gently closed the door to his room. "Let's let him rest," she said, pulling the cover closer to his neck. "I believe this move has been harder on him than anyone else." "I'll help him put his stuff up later," said Pearl, "but now I'm hungry." "Thank you, dear. Me too," said her mother. "Smells like Uncle Bert has a good lunch for us." "Yes, let's eat," said Pearl, "because Robin and Lucas will be over later so we can ride horses." "Oh, that's right. If he's not up in a few minutes, I'll get him ready," said her mother. "Also, I expect you and Robin to model the correct behavior with this riding thing. Listen to Uncle Bert and try not to make the horses gallop across the field or something, all right? The boys may not admit it, but they look up to you big sisters. So help them by showing good sense. No trotting, no galloping. You're walking with Bert leading if you even get on the horse and move. If any of you trot, you may fall and get hurt, and we're not having that. You've got to do this step by step, okay?" "Okay, Queen Mother." Pearl's mom looked a bit worried, but continued. "When you learn enough of the basics, you can focus more on the riding. But today you need to learn the tack on and help the boys with the blankets and stuff." "Tack? Like thumbtack?" said Pearl. She was confused. "Queen Mother, what is that? How do I gallop? Because it looks like fun. How do I trot? Can't we do some of that today? Like in the movies? Do I say, like, giddy up, horsey?" "You'll find out. And no trotting, no galloping, like I said," her mother said. She tousled Pearl's hair. "I'll meet you downstairs, Princess. Wash your hands and help Bert with whatever he needs." "Yes, ma'am," said Pearl and went to the kitchen. "Lord," she thought, "I'm so thankful for Uncle Bert and good things to think about. Don't want to be sad anymore." Bert was piling thick strips of barbecued brisket onto a big plate. "Wow, Uncle Bert, you're such a good cook," Pearl was saying. "I'm hungry. Can we eat now?" "Girl, you're always hungry. But yes, I'm a good cook, and you can eat. I smoked these on the grill, but I bought the rest. So I want you to eat well and not worry about food. You have enough going on." Can we have some leftover cake for dessert, or how about a horsey-do? Bert looked puzzled. Horsey-do? Are you trying to make a bad joke, sweetie? No, you know, the snacks you eat before you eat. That's what I mean. Oh, you mean hors d'oeuvres. He made a funny face. It's French, he said. They spell a lot differently than us, and it looks strange to us. Bring me a piece of paper and I'll write it out for you. Pearl grabbed a notepad and a pen and he wrote it out. That's weird, she said. I don't think I could ever learn French. Pearl, don't say that, said her mother, walking through the door. You can do all things through Christ, remember? Actually, you are. Look at the word Bert wrote and pronounce it for me, but spell it first. Okay. H-O-R-S space D-E space O-U-V-R-E-S. Is it hors d'oeuvres? No, dear. Her mother laughed. That's what it looks like. But remember, we told you they spell funny. They don't spell like it sounds. It's hors d'oeuvres. Say hors d'oeuvres. Hors d'oeuvres, said Pearl. There you go. So now you know a French word. If you ever see this, you'll know how to pronounce it right, and people won't make fun of you. You just spoke French. Oh, wow, I just spoke French. Yes, you did. See, you can do it. I told you. Now I'm going to teach you another French word. It's a better one. It describes you and Robert and everything that God made. She wrote O-B-J-E-T space D''A-R-T on the notepad, then handed it to Pearl. This word is pronounced Objet, and I want you to say it for me. Objet, said Pearl, looking at the word. That's weird, too. It's not weird, dear. It's different. It's just different. Remember, they spell differently than English. But I said it describes you, and what do you think that means? Pearl studied it. Well, it has art in it. Maybe a painting or something? You're right about the art part, said her mother. Objet means work of art. You are God's work of art. You are God's objet d'art. Good job, Charlotte, said Bert. So are you. Now, would you go get Rob? Reese and the kids will be here in a bit. No, Bert, I'm going to let him sleep and heal. You can teach him to ride later. Besides, he's really too little to be out there with them. All right, Bert said. Now you guys grab a plate. Oh, Pearl wanted a horsey-do of your cake, and that's how we got into French. I know 2 French words now, Pearl said. That calls for dessert.